Said, for the sake of our friendship, you must never ever ask me that question again. You've done it all mystical and Jedi-like.
I think I was being overly dramatic.
You were, but
yeah.
It worked.
Now we'll choose 3 cards. Any 3 you want to use, you're going to get 3 goes.
Matt was one of the first celebrities to come on the show. It's a close-up trick that has this sort of psychological approach.
Those 3, Derren Brown.
So he picked 3 cards at random, and then I got him to guess what he thought they would be.
What's the last card? You said 6 of clubs, 4 of clubs. What's the last one?
Jack of diamonds.
And with the exception of 1, he got them right.
Go on, you turn over.
Oh!
So then I give him an envelope, and inside the envelope is my prediction of the 3 cards that he would say. And of course, being very clever, I get them all right.
Well, look, Jack of diamonds, 4 of clubs, and the 6 of clubs.
How do I think Derren did his trick on me? Well, I've thought about this for quite a while, and what I think he did was he went back in time. I mean, there's a time-travelling machine, so it was like a time travel thing, I'm pretty sure.
Getting ready.
I really do enjoy the TV, and I'm very grateful for it. Though for me, the principal thing, my first love, is the theatre.
Jenny's the only person who's allowed to do this in the world. Obviously, we don't normally make that noise. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I get to muck around with my best friends for months on end, and it's fun. You know, it's a fun process. The show is fun, so that is what I enjoy the best.
Let's shout him. Take a flies. Flies are done up. Thank you. Ian's last job is to check that my flies are done up.
For me, the sort of quintessential Derren is his stage show. It's only then you get the sense of A, how funny he is, B, how sharp he is, how fast on his feet he is, and also his command of an audience is remarkable.
Theatre stuff's loads of fun because you're getting a kind of reaction from an audience every single night. You've got the applause, you've got people on stage reacting, which is really great.
Take the microphone, call it, come to me!
Come to me!
Come to me, come to me, keep calling, even without the
Obviously, with the stage, there's more showmanship involved.
Right, back over here, take the microphone.
I'm entertaining people for 2.5 hours, so has to be laughs and frights and all the rest of it. And there has to be the kind of ta-da sense of reveal, you know, which is very different from the TV.
Sorry, I'd have loved you to win it. Most people do change their mind at the end. I was really hoping you would. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Just very briefly, if I can find my pen, just keep your eyes focused on the easel for a second, please. Oh no, you've seen him. That's my fault. Sorry, don't take your head off, Phil. You've got 20 minutes. Now, by doing this, by blindfolding myself, it becomes easier for me somehow to see the things that you're seeing in your head, even to think the things that you are thinking. And if you want...
The Oracle Act came from a real heyday of mind readers and mentalists in the 20s and 30s, and that sort of act has all sorts of different forms. And this gets used by psychics, gets used in spiritualist churches.
Wait, okay, say stop when I...
For me, it's the purest form of mind reading, and it was a huge joy to sort of find my own approach to it.
It's about where this is, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it'll be in France.
Yes.
You spent time in France.
I remember being sitting in the audience and just hearing gasps of astonishment throughout the whole evening.
Blakey, yes?
Yes, that's just weird, yeah.
Also, please, you need to, whether or not, you're also thinking in your mind whether or not you're going to have any kids is going through your mind, yes?
Oh, crap,
yes?
yeah.
They just, you can see them, their brains are whirring and the cogs are kind of grinding together to try and solve this problem that he's presented them.
You need to look at this. You can think about it, but
Well, Andy Nyman has directed the stage shows and been my principal collaborator for pretty much all of these 10 years. Obviously, we're very dear friends. I'm quite cerebral, and he's quite kind of emotional and passionate. And which was always a really interesting team. But at the start, he really kind of, I think, modelled me and turned me into something that was going to be good on TV and watchable. I owe him really everything.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Ghost Stories Company, this is your beginner's call. Your call, please, Mr. Nyman.
Derren's greatest strength is his ability to try things that have never been tried before and have no fear of failure. That's extraordinary, you know. There are so many moments I'm proud of, really, within all of the work. Russian Roulette, live, was incredible, you know, to be there and to have that fear. Those live moments, Lottery, live, God almighty, so frightening. It is fearless.
Obviously, if you're doing anything live, it's risky, because anything could happen, anything could go wrong.
What it means is then the possibility of failure is much greater. But it's that thing of the safer you play, the duller it is.
We're broadcasting from a studio, and for security reasons, and so that nobody else benefits from what I'm doing here, it's just me and two cameramen in here. So
what Derren was risking was his entire reputation, professionally and publicly, and so that was a very scary 10 minutes.
This is my prediction. This prediction was made earlier on today. The numbers are there in numerical order. And we're going to come to this in a minute too.
Someone's written a piece in the papers talking about how it was definitely faked, and you can tell from Derren's fear. We've paused these moments here, and you can see Derren's micro expressions. And well, I am here to tell you that fear was tangible.
Those are the lottery numbers for this week: 2, 11, 23, 28, 35, and 39.
It felt like a tremendous success. It was the most viewed clip on YouTube in the world. You know, it made world headlines. The papers were full of, oh, it was half balls, it was a mirror tube, it was split screen, you know, and then you had all different versions on YouTube of people doing their solutions for it.
It was really exciting to do and a bit nerve-wracking. But the Friday night show, which then purported to reveal how I did it, that really makes me cringe. 6 random numbers came up live in the lottery, yet I knew what they would be beforehand, but not on my own. I had 24 very excited people hoping to predict them for me. The idea was you'd have this sort of slightly fishy explanation all the way through, that it was a wisdom of crowds explanation. And it was supposed to be a little bit kind of, really? Would that work? But then at the end, there was a big twist that actually I'd fixed it. But with the huge amount of scrutiny that eventually came with the show, we realised we couldn't do it. So I ended up, I think, just feeling a bit disingenuous, that I was expecting people to believe that's really how I did it. And I'm always careful not to sort of insult people, or not to just kind of lie like that. So it's the only thing I've done that I'm just not happy with at all. So if I'm ever asked how I predicted the lottery, I'm going to say it was just a trick. Good night. You guys better go in first, I suppose. Do you remember this?
What, your loo?
My loo, yeah, not do you remember my loo, we all remember my loo. Look, I put it in a loo.
Oh, what a lovely treat for you.
It is nice, isn't it? While you're having a poo.
That was made for Little Britain USA.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, if that doesn't help you do a shit, if that doesn't inspire you to poo, I don't know what will.
Well,
I really don't know what will.
Or more.
So, good luck. Or more.
Perhaps a number 3. Not saying it hasn't happened.
A number 3. Let's not talk about that.
Let's leave.
Let's quit while we're
behind.
behind.
The documentary crew in the toilet.
Yes.
We're here in this lovely, quiet, leafy suburban area to visit my parents. They've just moved, and I've only seen the new place a couple of times, so yeah, going to drop in on them.
Hello. Hi, Ted. How are you? Hello, darling. Lovely to see you.
Hello, lovely to see you. They've always been hugely supportive. Their philosophy seems to have always been just to let me do whatever I like. Most of the other law students had a huge amount of parental pressure on them. I had no pressure at all.
Well, he was a guide dog before.
He was a rubbish guide dog. He was a reject guide dog.
He wasn't a rubbish guide dog.
All these blind people ended up in lakes.
No, they didn't. It was horrible.
But it's 10 years, isn't it?
It is. I can't believe it's 10 years.
Does it seem like when I first started? And so I remember coming home from Bristol one day and saying, "I'm not going to be a lawyer. I'm going to be a magician."
Yeah.
And you remember that? Oh,
Yes.
yes. Stuck in your mind.
It's really surreal because the first time he was on TV, we were really excited, and then I watched it and I just couldn't believe it was him. You know, this was you as a baby.
Is what I looked like when I was
He had lots of blonde hair. He was really an only child until he was almost 10, before his brother was born. He was, I think, a little bit lonely, because everything he did is the sort of thing you do on your own, you know, reading, writing, painting. You don't do it with other people. And so when his brother was born, that put a different dimension on things.
So I remember you said, oh, we're going to go to a fun fair and go on a roller coaster.
Yeah.
But before we do that, you need to get into this suitcase at the top of the stairs. And I thought, okay, that's fine, I can do that. So I got in it, and you shut it, and then just kicked it down the stairs. And then I didn't really want to go after that, and we never went. Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I remember that.
In secondary school, if you weren't really part of the kind of sporty crowd, then, you know, I just got the piss taken out of me. And I think that's when I started to kind of develop an interest that led to performing. I sort of had mixed feelings about the place. I wasn't really... It was a lovely school, I don't know if I was really happy here. Not desperately unhappy either, but so it's just a mix of different feelings. I was never really bullied per se, but I was definitely a bit kind of picked on by kind of some of those rougher kids. Thank God it's the rougher kids that go on to have the really boring jobs and adult lives, while it's the kids that get picked on that grow up to do the interesting things. My father was the swimming instructor at the school. He was the swimming guy. He was Bob Brown with his cigar and his little Speedos. His beer belly hanging out over the top of them. That's kind of the image I have of him here for many years.
I think the door's open.
Is it? This is what was the swimming pool. They've allowed me to come and have a peek because it means so much to me, this place. This was my dad's empire, really. Oh, the sound, the acoustic is great. It still sounds like a swimming pool, doesn't it? Imagine doing exams in here. Hello! Makes me feel a bit sad. Look, it's still no running and jumping. Oh my God, you can get to the bottom of the pool. I'm so going to get detention for this. Oh, it's really strange. There's the steps, which I remember climbing down and just trying to hold my breath for as long as I could underwater and that kind of thing. I'm sure they have a beautiful new pool that is just stunning and modern compared to this one, but it does, just for me, because this is so personal to me, this does feel really sad. Something about seeing everything stripped away makes me see how far I've come. I was closer to my mum, I think, when I was younger, but as I've grown up, I've got closer to my dad. Standing in his office just made me very aware of how fond I am of him, of how much I love him. Just nostalgia, that sort of melancholy is bittersweet. Which, I suppose, is what melancholy is, isn't it? What I am very proud of was here at 30,000 feet, which is the last show that I did.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Due to a medical emergency, I'm sorry to report that the captain is currently incapacitated. It has become necessary to ask if there is a passenger on board.